Hi, it's Susan here from itsmysustainablelife.com. I am harvesting some beautiful carrots today, and I just wanted to show you how I go ahead and do that. So I use a pitchfork, I dig them up to loosen the soil, and I just pull them up. I go ahead and, for me, how we store our carrots all winter long is in sphagnum moss. And come March, it's like eating a fresh carrot right out of the ground. So once I pull the carrots up out of the ground, in order to save them, I take off any dead greens that aren't so great. We don't want to, because I'm going to save these greens and actually dehydrate them and powder them. So I try to weed out the bad stuff right from the get-go. All I do is I take and I pinch off that top green part. I lay the carrot down on top of the sphagnum moss. There's a good layer of sphagnum moss on the bottom of this bucket here. I don't want the carrots to be on top of one another or touching one another. You want a little bit of space in between. So they can be pretty close together, but just not touching. I find that when they're touching in the sphagnum moss, that just promotes decay. So once you have a good layer of carrots on the bed, you just go ahead and you take another layer of sphagnum moss and lay it on the top. You want to make sure that the sphagnum moss is not drippy wet. It's very damp. It's very wet to the touch, but I can't squeeze water out of it. So that's about the consistency you want your sphagnum moss. Once the bucket's filled, I go ahead and I put on top a plastic baggie really loose just to try to keep the moisture in, and I place it in my cold cellar. You could also place it in a garage, a cold garage, any place that's cold but doesn't get freezing. So if you don't have a cold cellar, you'd probably have to keep a little bit closer eye on it throughout the winter. But again, come spring, come March, I've had fresh carrots out of this method all the way up, depending on the weather, all the way up through April. So thanks for joining. It's mysustainablelife.com. Be sure to subscribe below.